Okay, part 8, the last part, and then these videos are over. I've been chasing the sunset, or I guess trying to not be chasing it, it's chasing me. So I've had to move a few times through all of these videos. I hope I'm not talking so fast that it's hard to follow. Ideally, however you're watching this, if I'm talking too quick, you can hit the little button. Instead of the 1x, you can decrease it. I do apologize if I'm talking fast. It's trying to get a lot of information out, and when I do that, this is what happens. So, words of encouragement, part 8, this final part in this little mini series. I think one of the things I tell people a lot is this is a learning curve. Learning to live with any kind of illness or disability that is life-changing is a learning curve. It's going to take time. You're going to go through all sorts of emotions. You just don't be so hard on yourself. You have to give yourself grace as you figure this out, because you can figure it out. And I can guarantee you will get it figured out, and then something will change, and then you're going to have to figure it out again. That's just the way life is. So just don't be hard on yourself, because you're not expected to know how to navigate all of this all at once. I think for me personally, I was in survival mode from 2016 to 2020, probably into 2021. But between 2021, let's say 2021, because 2020 was hard for everyone, right? 21 to 2022 was a year of growth and learning. It was, for me, I wasn't going through the motions from my doctor and hyper-focusing on them anymore. I was letting them come up with their plan. I was documenting everything symptom-wise as best I could to help them, but I wasn't focusing on all of this Lyme life stuff anymore. I put a lot of work into my mindset, a lot of work into my mental health, and figuring out how I could just start living in spite of whatever I was feeling, good or bad, that day. And then from the later half of 2022 until now, I would say I'm living again. And like I said before, I'm still doing treatment. Week 1 for me is still really, really tough. The Herx is the hardest in that week. I have to take it easy. I have to pace myself. I have to take days off of work. But I'm living, and I feel like this is a quality of life that I wasn't expecting. So I don't know, words of wisdom. I don't know. I think this is just something that we all fumble through, whether you're dealing with an illness or you're dealing with grief of something else. There isn't a training manual. There isn't a right way to go about it. But I think if you can work on your mindset, that you can shorten the survival phase of this a lot. And like also remembering that, your doctors are creating these protocols, and hopefully you're with someone you trust and you're following them. But like you taking the med when they say to take the med, that's not going to be the thing that changes everything. Like it's everything you do in between that matters a lot too. So just know that like you have agency, you have control, and you have the ability to make those choices, to do all of those small things day to day that really add up. If this is a concept you struggle with a lot, I'd actually really recommend, there's 2 books, The Compound Effect and The Slight Edge. These are huge for me when I was learning how to move again, and I would only maybe do 5 minutes, and I thought, like, what's the point? But reading those books helped me reframe all of that, and I became proud of it. And because I was proud of it, instead of mad at myself for only doing 5 minutes, I showed up again. And then that snowballed, and I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and then I could do more for longer. So I think another take home, I guess, would just be, do not underestimate the power of a small choice that you repeat over time. It might be really unglamorous, it might be really simple, and it probably feels like it's not putting a dent in what's going on, but I promise you, if you stick with it, it will. Another one, hope. Do not lose it. It is one of the key things I think that can keep you kind of looking forward. You don't have to know what better will look like, but just hoping for more. And it's okay to hope for more. I think that's a really big one. Community, another huge piece of it. And if you're here watching this on Instagram, you're part of a community. The community here on Instagram has grown into something really big and beautiful over all of these years. When I was first diagnosed in 2016, there weren't a lot of people sharing about it. Part of the reason that I do is because of that. It was hard to find people. It was hard to find people who weren't angry. I always caution people when it comes to support groups. I know there's good ones these days, but I found a lot of them on Facebook back then were actually really negative. They had a lot of anger in them, and they just weren't a nice place to be, even if you could find helpful information. I had to avoid them. So just protect your peace. Find a place where you can have community in people who are dealing with something similar to you, so they understand you, but they don't kind of harbor an environment that makes you unhappy. You have to find the people who lift you up and understand you. So I guess those are my last pieces for this little series. I would tell you where to find me, but you know what? If you're watching this, you're either on YouTube or on Instagram, or maybe this is somehow linked up on my website by the time I put it out into the world. So I think that's it. I hope this has been helpful. If I have left something out, if you want me to talk more about something, or if you're like, Sarah, this is way too fast, you need to slow the F down and re-record it, you can tell me that too. I'll do my best.